Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link. In the last part we did some stuff around Easter Hyrule and now we're in the Ocean Palace. And this is around the point, I'll admit, that you can start using shortcuts. Because if you notice, I did do level grinding last part, as I mentioned. And due to the fact that I can pretty much good on levels, you can start ignoring enemies and P-bags. And because of that, I can pretty much skip a lot of the content in these dungeons. I only explore about half of it. Also, you're gonna need Fairy here, so make sure you have it. Mind you, if you're at this point, I think you have to have it anyway, but yeah. Yeah, actually you would, because you need to get to Dungeon 3. Also, you need to come back here, because the one, I think I mentioned it before, but the really annoying thing about the Fairy spell is the fact that you can't dissipate it at will, you have to leave the screen. So you have to backtrack in order to get that key. Which is somewhat annoying, not really. This room is, though, because you got dragon heads over instant death lava. It's not fun. Not fun at all, honestly. And red iron knuckles. This is also around the point where the iron knuckles start being placed essentially everywhere, by the way. And then you get stabbed in the knees. I don't think I'm ever actually gonna have to show off how you fight iron knuckles legitimately, because they're only in the next... The only other time they appear in the game is in the next dungeon. Because I don't recall them being in the final dungeon, so yeah, I should be good on them, actually. Sweet. Oh, this room's annoying. Make sure you have jump equipped so you can get this key much more easily because, well, we got things falling from the sky. Not as bad as certain other games, like Mega Man X2, that was. Or what, was it X2 or was it X3? No, it was X2 because there was an X-Hunter stage there. Though, mind you, that wasn't that annoying if you just knew to dash, dash, and dash. But my first playthrough, oh boy, that place was bad. I think that was Magna Centipede stage? Yeah, it was, actually. Anyway, hidden red potion in this dragon head here. That's actually surprisingly hard to hit, I will admit to that. I believe if you go through every room in the dungeon and get every P-bag, you might be able to get a level up from where I am now. But I don't think I'll be able to, because, well, I know I won't be able to because I'm just going straight for the exit after I get the main item. So, yeah. You can use jump to get that, by the way. I don't really need to, though. I'm gonna be doing more level grinding after this dungeon anyway. You do, however, need to use jump here to get to this iron knuckle. And I forget if I mentioned it or not at this point, but fighting the iron knuckles with the jump spell on is not easy. Mostly because you get so used to the normal jump physics, but then suddenly you jump like 3 times as high and you're like, oh, this is gonna be difficult. Also, we got another new enemy in this dungeon, Sorcerers. I forget how much experience points they give. All I know is that they teleport all over the place and that they hurt. Well, they normally hurt. Usually, at this point, I am usually about 2 levels lower, so my life isn't as good. Oh, great, a dead end. Perfect. Just perfect. Lol, nope. I'm not sure how you're supposed to figure that out. I don't think they ever hinted that, so yeah. Cryptic game design. Mind you, the NES games had a lot of that in them. Not even this one. A lot of games did that. Metroid 1, Blaster Master. A lot of good games, but they were cryptic as all hell. Especially Metroid 1. Oh boy, Metroid 1. Anyway, hidden red potion in this statue up here, if I could get up there. Thank you. And I'm actually going to immediately leave the screen and re-enter it because I don't want the jump spell active. Because there are, in fact, things in here that are names, Iron Knuckles. And there's the dungeon item, which is actually one of the few returning items from Zelda 1. The flute. It only has 2 uses in the overworld, as far as I'm aware. But there might be a third one. It might call enemies if you use it on the overworld, but I'm never too sure about that. All I know is that I only use it for the 2 things you need to use it for. And with that, all I need to do is go get 1 extra key, and then we're out of here, right? And then well, not out of here, we're heading towards the boss, obviously. Whoa, that is some sound errors there. Well, not really sound errors, just a lot of sounds going on at once. And also, I should mention that hidden passage we went through about maybe a minute ago at this point. I will be cutting back to it in about 20 seconds? Because, well, just to save you guys some time. I'm backtracking. When it's a game that's fairly recognizable like this, I don't mind using editing like that. Though if it's a Metroid game, I'm pretty much saying no to any editing aside from maybe going back for an energy recharge. Sorry. And the reason we came over here is a key, by the way. Though, mind you, the only game I've really had to do that in is probably Metroid 2. Anyway, back to the hidden passage, because now we're heading straight for the boss. I really can't say it enough, but I love this song. Also, the bubbles look really green in this area due to the textures. So not really textures. Tile patterns of the area. Textures is something for 3D gaming stuff. There is a pea bag to the left there, I believe, but I don't need it. Now, that key I went for before cutting back to the hidden passage, I technically didn't need, but I wanted to have as much magic as possible. Why? Well, there's a locked door here. However, if you remember correctly, back when we got the fairy spell, I mentioned you can go through locked doors like so. So now we can pretty much just say, screw you level, I'm going to the boss. Who is actually in this next room right here. I recommend using shield and jump, though shield takes priority over jump, I can tell you that much. And the boss of this dungeon is Guma, who is actually an American exclusive boss. In the Japanese version, you fought Horsehead again, you know, the first boss. And he's hard but easy. He hits hard, and he hits fast, but the thing is, he is a giant target. I used to have a lot of trouble with him, but nowadays, not so much. He does just fling his mouth. All he really does is walk back and forth and fling his mace at you. Nothing too bad at all, honestly. But yeah, that was Dungeon 5 of 6. Well, technically 7, but the 7th one's the final dungeon. That is our final goal. You know, I gotta say, if we're this far in, the minions of Ganon aren't doing their job too well. And the second to last level up is magic. However, before heading on to the next dungeon, I'd want to get that last level, so I'm actually going to grind the Tektites around here for that last level up at 8,000 experience points. Now, as you'll notice, up there in the top right, it still says next 192 out of 9,000. What that means is, every time you max out your experience points at 9,000 from here on, by the way, here's the one of the 2 uses for the flute, whenever you max out your EXP at 9,000 from now on, you'll get an extra life. Meaning, if you know the right areas, you could potentially live grind. I recommend the forests in the upcoming area. And now we're technically heading to an area that's called Dangerous Hyrule, because this is technically almost entirely under Ganon's minions' control. And the name Dangerous suits it, because we're going to be running into a lot of Lizalfos, and this area I remember being a lot harder, I'll admit to that. Well, these little 3 areas that lead into Dangerous Hyrule. Mostly just because I remember the rocks being a lot more powerful. Again, usually on a casual playthrough, I'm like level 6 at life, I think? No, not that low. Probably level 7. That is one thing I will give the Japanese version, is that while there's that really bad thing about leveling up in that version, you can at least choose what you want to level up. So most people probably go for attack first. Actually, I wonder if you max out your attack if you could one-shot the first boss. Anyway, yeah, welcome to Dangerous Hyrule. There's a Link doll, Link doll, this is being the extra lives, by the way. I haven't really mentioned them, but they are all over the place. Though I'm not going. I originally was going to show off where all the Link dolls were before ending the game off, but honestly, you could probably just look up on Zelda Dungeon to find that, so I'm not going to. Aside from one, to at least show them off. But while we're here, we actually want to go somewhere. We want to go into this corner right here for a very cryptically hidden heart container, the last one. We are now a nearly maxed out Link. Quote unquote nearly, because, oh, also on this screen there's a pea bag somewhere, but I don't need it. I say quote unquote because technically, even after we get the last magic container, there's still going to be 2 open slots in our inventory for items that we'll be getting. Now, if you were on the beach area, like I was, you may have noticed that there was a bridge leading to the southwest. Do not cross that yet. Whatever you do, I don't recommend crossing that until getting the item from the next dungeon. You'll find out why probably next part. I love you, downward stab. Actually, I just realized, wow, I am slow on that. The downward stab is one of his attacks in Smash, isn't it? Wait, did I mention that already? I forget. Anyway, there's nothing here. Wrong. Press the, I forget if it's the A or the B button. I know, I just recorded this about a half hour ago. I should remember that. And you'll reveal the town of New Kasuto. That town that it was on the southwest of the beach that I mentioned is Old Kasuto. There's not much you can do there yet. But we want to come here for 3 things. First off, we want to go into this old lady's house. Why? Well, first off, she'll tell you something about something being at the edge of the town. Because if you go to the 3rd screen, it's nothing but a dead end. That's what we're here for. Well, one of the 3 things. The first thing we're here for is actually in her basement here, which is not the wise man in the village, but instead the last magic container. Inventory aside, we are now a fully maxed out Link. Well, we could potentially max out our lives, but I'm not going for that. And the next one is one I can never remember the placement of. The next thing we're looking for is actually in one of the empty houses, but first off, I want to have full HP and MP. That's satisfying. I will say this is one of those games that when you, on multiple playthroughs, you miss how powerful you were earlier, but Anyway, this is the house we're looking for. See this chimney? Yeah, you can go in it. Into the basement, which does in fact contain this town's wise man, who teaches you the second to last spell in the game. And what spell is that? Spell. The spell. The spell has 2 uses, one which is a one-time thing, and the other one you can use any time. If you use it while there's enemies on the screen, those enemies will turn into bots, you know, the slimes from the early sections of the game. However, the main reason you want it is on the 3rd screen of this place. Because if you use the spell on this screen, this thing appears, and you want to go in here, let me tell you this. Why? Because in here you get a very familiar item, the Master Key. Remember this from the first game? So pretty much now we have infinite small keys. That means essentially in the 6th and in the next dungeon rather, all I need to go for is the dungeon item and the boss. Booyah! But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 7, I'm actually going to meet you at the entrance to the cave that got us here to Kasuto in the first place, just to save us some time, and then we'll be heading after the final main dungeon of the game. See you guys then.